What is up, guys? Welcome back. Another episode of Friday the 14th podcast. I'm one of your hosts, the Emo Sewer one, Franco, along with my lovely co-host over here.
Manny Fresh, you're lovely. You keep introducing me in such nice ways. I don't know how to respond. I don't get compliments.
We're here for another episode. Today we're reviewing Smile 2022. It's on Paramount Plus that you can be watching it right now, along with Babylon. Babylon's on there too.
Babylon, yeah.
Not a horror movie, but if y'all didn't know, Babylon's on there.
We're promoting Paramount Plus.
Yeah, Paramount Plus sponsor us.
Yeah.
I'm just putting everything up on the socials right quick. How's your week going, man? We were here yesterday.
It's going. It's midweek, man. So, it's always going good when it's midweek. When it's hump day.
Hump day.
Because you've made it through. Actually, I was thinking about it today. Wednesday is the middle of a regular work week, Monday through Friday, and it's also the middle of an actual week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's crazy. Wednesday is midweek. I love, dude, this movie's so good. It's all about middle-aged men telling female cashiers they should smile more. That's what the whole movie's about, right? Like, you should smile more. It's like middle-aged men telling women that. You should smile
for an hour and a half.
You should smile more. That's the whole video is that. Like, the whole movie is just, you should smile more. The one thing that women hate to hear.
Cashiers hate to hear that as well.
Cashiers, yeah. Dude, I'm going to call him out, but my dad used to do that a lot, and I used to hate it. I used to, like, walk away from the line.
Most parents do that.
They'd be like, "Oh, you look down. You should smile more," and I would walk off. I'd be like, "I'm not doing this. Leave them alone. Please leave them alone. Just let them do their damn job."
Yeah, it's the older generation that does that. And it's, I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyways, we're here today, Friday the 14th, episode 7 of season 5. Me, Manuel, the freshest in the room.
Ooh.
Smile, man, smile.
Wow.
This movie, before we get into it, we gotta praise it. Because, like, before you even went to go see it, this marketing was fucking amazing for it. Did you see the way they marketed it?
Yes, I did. They had people in, like, the stands at games, and they would just smile. And I was like, okay. I like when horror movies market themselves, man. I think that's such a smart move.
It was a really amazing, and I didn't even know about it until they started marketing it. I was like, oh, okay, I need to see this movie. And I mean, it took me a while to see it, obviously until now, but I still was like, in the box office, like, how did the new numbers? Did it do well? I was hoping it did well.
I think it did well, man. I remember seeing this trailer multiple times that I would go to the theaters, and I was just like, I'm watching that when it comes out. You got to the point that I would see the trailer so many times, I knew it. Like, we'd go in the theater, I'd look at my fiance when it was coming on. I'm like, get ready. Start to finish. But no hate for it. I love this movie. You're right, marketing. Definitely got to give props to the way they marketed this. This was what, Paramount that made this movie.
I don't know who was on the marketing team. I don't know who did all of it, but they deserve a fucking raise. Even if it didn't do good in theaters, I don't care. They deserve a raise for that. That, like, out of the box thinking.
Yes, because 2022 was a year for experimental horror. There was a bunch of different types of films, man. I mean, you've seen Barbarian, right?
I have yet to see Barbarian.
Okay, well, it's gosh, 2022 is like.
I've been hearing about it and everything, and people are just like, you need to see it, but I'm like, I'll wait till we review it. Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely Barbarian, man. Mad that there's no physical release right now. I'm ticked off.
Yeah, but Smile was released in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the release date. I never have the release dates on these. I don't know why I
I think
have
it
any
was
videos.
August, right? Or was it August or
I feel
September?
like it was around that time.
Let's see.
It was directed by Parker Finn, who has only directed two other movies, and it was
You know
also
that other
written
movie?
by Parker Finn.
That other movie he released is a short film. It's the short film that this movie's based on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a short film and the short film has the
Is it
same
Laura?
girl.
Laura hasn't slept,
Yes,
or the
and
hype
it
behind it?
has the main character in that short film is the girl that we meet at the beginning of the movie.
Hmm.
The not the main actress, but the one that she has to precursor. There's going to be spoilers, guys. I'm sorry. I had to say that before I say anything
Spoilers.
else. There's going to
Spoiler.
be spoilers in this, so if you've not seen Smile, please step aside in the nicest way and go watch it. Unless you just don't care for, spoilers before you watch a movie, or maybe by hearing this review, you'll go see the movie.
Yeah, I'm one of those that doesn't care because like I listen to this movie podcast every. I think I do listen to them every Tuesday, but they record every Monday on our channel. And I listen to every Tuesday at work, and like most movies, I've never seen actually, so I'm like, okay, that's cool. Sounds like
Avoiding
good.
spoilers is like a religion to me, bro.
Like what's the? They reviewed a whole bunch of Denzel. Is what no? Was it Denzel? Yeah, Denzel Washington movies last year, and they reviewed Training Day. I'd never seen that movie, and then like they reviewed it, I was like, you know what? I think I'll check this out. It's on HBO Max, and I enjoyed it.
I'm going to be very honest with you. My dad used to watch that movie all the time, right? And I would sit and watch bits and pieces, and we owned it. But the only reason I even forwarded through that movie is because Eva Mendes was in it, and I thought she was really pretty as a kid. So I was like, I want to see when Eva Mendes comes out. And I was like, yeah, Eva Mendes is very pretty. I think, yeah, she's in that film. But that's the only reason. And now they're releasing the Steelbook. It comes out next Tuesday, and I pre-ordered it because I'm like, it's in 4K. My dad loved this movie, and I trust my dad's movie taste sometimes. So I love Denzel Washington. I love Ethan Hawke. I've seen a lot of other movies. Training Day is just one that I have not sat through completely. In bits and pieces, I have.
It's pretty good.
So yes, and I know because it's like it was David Ayer that did Training Day, which is weird because he did the Suicide Squad. Oh no, he did Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad. I don't want any trash talk towards James Gunn. Suicide Squad, the David Ayer. He did that. He did Fury. He also did Tax Collector. God forgive him. Um, but yeah, like he had some good stuff under his belt, and then he did End of Watch. Training Day, End of Watch, Fury, and then Tax Collector and Suicide Squad. But but yeah, man, definitely gotta watch Training Day.
But back to Smile.
Sorry,
The
guys.
the casting was Sozie Bacon as Rose, Jesse T. Usher as Trevor,
A Train,
um,
baby.
other people. I'm trying to figure out who was in the important ones to list, but you also have the
Joel.
guy from Harold and Kumar in here.
Oh, Cal
Cal
Penn,
Penn,
right?
yeah, as one of the doctors.
Uh, Kyle
Joel,
Gallner.
Kyle, yeah, Kyle
Yeah,
Gallner.
he's
I think
important
that's
because
it.
he was in a. Wasn't he in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake?
He was in. Oh, he's in Scream, the new one, Part 5.
Oh yeah, I don't remember his character in that one though.
He played Vince. Um, you said what? New Nightmare?
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street 2009.
He was in Smallville.
Yes, he was Barry Allen, Wally West. He was the Flash.
Oh, he was the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's why he looked familiar.
Yeah, except it was Bart Allen for that one. But whenever, what's it called, grabs his
Yeah, he was Nightmare on Elm
yeah,
Street,
he was Quentin. Yep. Um,
2010.
yeah. So he's been. I knew he was. It said The Walking Dead as well. I said I knew he was in an episode of The Walking Dead. I knew
But
it. I was like, I remember that.
I guess we get into the movie. You already said spoilers, so spoilers. If you don't want to be spoiled about this movie, go and watch it. If you do not care about spoilers like me, continue listening to the podcast with a smile on your face. Oh well, I guess before we get into it, you can follow us on social media: Instagram, Friday the 14th podcast, social media, everywhere Friday the 14th podcast. I don't think anybody's taking it besides us. You can also follow Rest Tacos. I've been posting a lot there. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I don't know why you're watching this. If you haven't subscribed yet. Hit the notification
Beat him
bell as
up.
well.
Beat him up.
But ratings, man, ratings. We rate here on a scale of 1 to 5. Danny Trejo's machetes. I'll let you go first this time.
Five.
5.
Five machetes. I thought this was. I love how new and fresh this felt as a film. There are some comparisons I'll make to another film, but I don't know. I had fun with this movie.
Damn, raising the bar. Raising the bar.
Five Danny Trejo's. I'm just gonna give it.
5 Danny Trejos. I haven't had time to think about it actually. The movie was really good. It was entertaining. Um, I'd watch it again. I'd watch it with my wife if she wants to watch it. 5 though. Would I give it a 5? I don't think I would. I think 4. A solid
Four is
4.
four. Four's perfect, man. Four's
Yeah, I think
perfect.
I think it was a solid 4. Like it was real good, but if you're not into story,
I
you
get
probably get
you.
bored.
I get you. Yeah.
But yeah, solid 4 for me.
Hmm.
But spoilers, rest of the episode.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm sending something real quick.
You're good.
And then we can get into it. The first. Okay, you watched this film 2 times.
Yes.
How was your reaction going into it the first time? Before you
Um,
watched it, what was your thoughts going into it?
I had seen the trailer multiple times, and there was a scene in the trailer that I compared to another movie that's on Shutter. And I remember seeing that scene and being like, "Oh, they took that from that movie." And the more I saw the trailer, the more the me wanting to watch it grew on me. Because the first time I was kind of like, "Okay, that looks." Because the first trailers, honestly, man, they weren't even that long. The first trailers were like less than 10 seconds, and it was just people smiling, and then it would say "smile." Like that. That's all it was. And then the trailers got more in depth. And after I saw the trailer the first time, I was like, okay, I think like I saw that one scene. I was like, oh, that's just like this other movie. And then I saw it again, and I was like, oh, cool. Like this this actually looks like what it's worth seeing. I want to watch this now. So going into this movie, I was like, it seems new, and that's what I like about horror, man. I love to be like I want to watch a horror movie that seems new to me. Um, and I'm always looking for something that I guess I love horror, but I want to be scared at the same time. It's like I want something to genuinely make me crap. Like I'm not lying. If I could poop myself in theaters, I think I'd give you a 5, and then I'd walk out of the theater because it would stink. But yeah, and so
Sorry,
that was
guys.
my.
Sorry, popcorn guy.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so I definitely when I walked out of that movie, I remember just being like, I actually really enjoyed that. I liked it. I really do.
See, me, I don't think I saw trailers until I saw um the marketing for it, the baseball game when they were there for the baseball game. Smile was it
Yeah,
baseball
yeah,
game? Right?
yeah, yeah,
Smiling.
yeah.
Um, I saw it then, and I was like, I need to go see what this movie's about. And even I think for Good Morning America, they were on the by the windows and everything. I think Nick had talked about it,
Yes.
and I had never seen a trailer for it, so I went on my way to go look at the trailer, and I was like, it looks new. It looks like something new age horror. But I was like, I want to see it, but I never had time to go see it. But after watching it for the first time, um, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good, something fresh. No pun intended.
Ooh, like that?
Yeah, like that. But the first 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes. Um, what's her name? Is it Rose? Right?
Yeah, the main character?
Yeah, Rose Cotter. She's a doctor and like a
Uh,
therapist,
yeah.
and she has a pretty much into her going into her life that day. But then she had a can't think of the word, patient, who had came in and was talking to her, saying that she was feeling like she was being watched and hearing voices and seeing everybody smile. And then she starts seeing it in the room. We can't see it obviously, but she starts seeing it in the room with Rose, and she goes crazy, starts smiling, and then picks up like a, not a knife, it was like a piece of plastic, and just cut her face across into a smile.
Mm.
How? What was your reaction to that first 10? Like, what'd you think about it?
Because she's crying and she's saying that like she saw her professor commit suicide right in front of her. He grabbed a hatchet or a hammer and bashed his head in like right in front of her, and she's trying to get this psychiatrist to understand, like it's because she keeps trying to give her like reasonable explanations, like, well, it's your mind because of this, because of that, and she's like, no, no, like you're not listening to me, you're not listening to me. And I always get frustrated in films because it's like, just believe them, you know. Like but I get it. I like the way that this movie plays with the psychiatrist being the one that's kind of like, like there's a reasonable explanation of everything, but now there isn't. Um, but no, I remember it being really. I think it's she stumbles back off of that chair and she falls on the floor and she's screaming, and the psychiatrist is like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And then I think she dropped the vase. Right? Is that what she dropped? She
Yeah, it
drops
was a
like the
vase.
vase that was on. Yeah, and then so she picks up that when it gets quiet. She makes the phone call. It gets real quiet, and then she turns around and the girl's standing there with a huge smile on her face. But I thought it was crazy the way she cuts herself is she cuts herself from like right here, but then down to her neck. Like instead of it like going across her face, it like makes the smile like down to her neck. And I remember being like, "Oh my gosh, like what the heck?" And then she just falls over with a big smile on her face, like it's still there. And then I think what really added to it was there's this quietness in the movie, and then the score. The score is very like unsettling. So I thought that was a way to start a movie right there. That
Yeah,
really
I thought
was.
it was very well done. I don't know if I told on the podcast already, but I was watching the first. I was watching it with my daughter in the room. She was like eating and went back and forth to the other room to watch TV. But I was paying attention to her watching it, and she started watching it. And whenever that scene came on, my daughter's two. Whenever that scene came on, I turned it off right away. Got her, and I was like, "Nope, not watching this right now. I don't want this leaving an impression on you at such a young age right now." Because I wasn't
Smart.
expecting it, and it was just
Very smart.
out of nowhere. But I watched it alone yesterday, and yeah, that scene was really good. It gets you hooked into the movie like right away.
Yeah. Sets the tone from what to expect from this film.
Yeah, the film pretty much I guess a curse. They never really explain what fully it is. It just goes on about Rose trying to figure out what it is. Now it's
Yeah, it's
following Rose at this point.
it's like it's basically kind of like explained like in a way fear, and the only way that fear can consume and continue to move is if others are instilled with it. So like it uses that suicide to um to transfer itself, to like to continue the fear. Watching it the second time, I was able to like really pay attention. Well, I paid attention to the first time, but when you're watching a movie the first time, I'm like, oh wow, oh cool. And the second time, it's like, oh, now I can listen. Oh, this happened, this happened, this happened. Um, so so yeah, there was a lot of comparisons I have to another film about this movie, but like good comparisons on how they play with the entity. Um,
It follows.
so yes, so this movie does have the feel It Follows, which is another movie I really like. I like It Follows. That movie doesn't scare me in the sense of the like, oh, it's scary, that thing yeah, that's eerie. But the thing that got me the most is there's something about tall things, and I'm not calling out tall people. Tall people, you're cool. But when there's tall monsters, like not just monsters, there's this scene in It Follows where the girl goes to hide in a room and their friends are knocking on the door and they're like, "There's nothing here. It's just us. Open the door." So she opens the door. Her first two friends come in, and then this tall dude, like this tall entity, comes in and he has to like hover down to get in. That messed me up. It just messed me up. I'm like, things should not be that tall. I'm a short king. So I was like, things should just not be that tall. And this movie, again, the comparisons are these entities are following certain people, and only you can see these entities, and they can come back to you. And it follows the thing is you have to have sex to, and then if the person that you have sex with doesn't have sex again and it kills that person, then it goes back to stalking you, right? But it can only walk, it can't run. Um, in Smile, the thing is, it's done through suicide. If you witness a suicide, it's transferred to you. And in the movie, that's the main premise is she's figuring out how does as the movie plays along, it's like what's the cause of this, and she finds out suicide. How do I get rid of this? What I'm seeing, because again, it follows. It can come in the form of any stranger, but in Smile, the first girl that in the clinic is like, uh, it could come as like my mother, your father, like my grandfather who died, not too long ago. It comes as people you know. So I mean, that's like even more eerie to me, especially like you got dead relatives coming at you, bro. Like it's hands on, bro. I don't care. You're dead. I'm sorry if I once hugged you and called you my, Theo or my grandma. It's hands. You get in these hands. I don't care what afterlife you came from.
Catch me
You're
outside.
catching them. Yes, I'm not playing. So definitely, I think that's why I give this. I really like It Follows because it was a movie again. Saw the trailer, didn't think much of it, kind of slept on it, and then I was like, I'm not even gonna pay to see this movie. I watched it on a torrent site, and I was like, oh my gosh, I liked that movie. Like I wish I had paid to go watch it in theaters.
I
This movie gives me that feel.
I watched it in theaters, and I watched it with like three friends, I think, or yeah. But I didn't enjoy it. I mean, it was like about sex and shit, so they really enjoyed it. I forgot when it came out. It's kind of like what 2015 ish, 13
14, I
ish.
think. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, the
and
premise itself is like, yes, the whole thing about sex, I don't care for. The thing about an entity following you, that's what got me. This entity that you can't escape, that only you see, and it continues to walk after you. And then like, there's even a scene where it gets to her, I think, and it yanks her, and nobody can see it, and like she gets lifted by her hair. And I was just thinking like, that's kind of creepy, man. Like that idea is creepy. The whole sex thing I can care less about. But I think that's what I like is this with horror. Why I give Smile such a high ranking is because when they decide to do something out of the box, when they create these things, these villains that only you can see, I don't know, it just adds to the effect for me. Like it's really a mind. It's like an NF track. He's always talking about how powerful the mind is, and Smile really shows that.
what was your favorite moments about it?
My favorite moments. Okay, so this movie. I was talking to Katie about this. It has a way of building up this tension and making you think that something's gonna pop up, and then nothing pops up. There's a scene where she opens the fridge, and it's really focusing on when she closes it. So you're like, something's gonna happen. Nothing. There's a moment like, and then the way it does it is there's this scene when she's listening back to the recording of the session that she had with that one girl that killed herself, and she has her earphones on and she's really intent. Rose is sitting at the table, and she's really intent, and she keeps clicking because she hears something. She keeps clicking it and then turning up the volume to hear it. So I think somebody's gonna scream, right? And I'm like, oh, it's coming, and then the sound gets really quiet. We're listening in. I'm like leaning into the TV because at one point she's leaning into her screen to hear better, and I noticed that I do that sometimes when I'm trying to hear better. I'll lean into the screen, which is dumb because it's like you're trying to hear it, you're not trying to see it. And she starts to do that to her computer screen, and then boom, on the side of her, it's the girl that committed suicide, and she like yells or something, and that like it didn't really happen, but I just like that was one of my favorite scenes. And gosh, there was the dude. What was it? Whose suicide was it that I thought was real cool? Oh my gosh, I had so many scenes that I liked. Now they're just slipping from my head. Now that you're, why don't you talk about one of your favorite scenes and it'll come back. Gosh.
How'd you feel about the boyfriend, his character arc? Like he seems so supporting and everything, and then once she started going, I guess cuckoo and whatnot, he was like, "Yo, you need help."
Yeah. First of all, shout out to Jesse Tuber. He's A Train in The Boys, and I love the show The Boys on Amazon. And he's an a hole in what's it called, in The Boys. Uh, but in this movie, he's very supportive at the beginning, and I'm all for it. I'm like, that's a nice fiance. Fiance. On top of that,
Yeah.
man's already proposed to her. But then when he becomes an a hole to me, is when they're having that argument. It was, yes, after one of my favorite scenes is the cat, the little kid's birthday party, and he opens it's supposed to be a toy train, and it's her cat mustache. Shout out to the name Mustache. It's such a cool name. It's her dead cat inside the toy box, the train box. And then on top of that, it's like she looks at the seat, and that girl's smiling. She's like, please tell me I'm not the only one who sees it. I'm not crazy. And she falls through the freaking glass table, and then she's sitting there like crying. She's like, ah, and then like cut, dude. Okay, so because of that, the boyfriend meets her at the doctor's, which is, hey, shout out to her manager. He shows up, and he's like, I just want to make sure you're doing good. Cal Penn from
Yep.
Howard and Kumar. He's like, I just want to make sure you're doing good. I heard that you got checked into the hospital. And she's just like, I'm okay, I'm okay. And then the boyfriend shows up. He drives her home. And then when they're walking away, she's like, I'm not crazy, okay? I'm not crazy. And then he goes, oh, yeah, you're right, because it's genetic. And then I'm like, oh, what are you saying? And then she's like, what are you talking about? I mean, like, your mother had it, and it can run in the family, right? He goes, I mean, come on, Rose. I, wanted to do my research before I decided to, like, commit to something for the rest of my life. And I was just like, bro, your girl needs you right now. Now is not the time to call out, how crazy she is. If anything, sit there and, like, well, I don't know, man. That was a complete 180. I went from being like, "Oh, you're kind," to like rooting for the ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'm not even lying.
I was
I
like,
was
fuck this guy.
like, yeah. I was like, screw this dude. The ex-boyfriend was a detective. Just get back with him. It's that really upset me, man. That I was pissed. My fiance sat there and she's like, "What an a-hole." Now that I think about it, she's an a-hole, and I was like, "Yeah, he is. He is. He lived up to. He started playing A Train at the end of the movie. He was just living up to the. But no, man. Men out there in relationships, don't be that guy. Don't take no pointers.
Tell her
No
she's not
pointers.
crazy.
Yeah, just tell her she's not crazy. Unless you have like, unless she comes at you with a knife, that's a different story. Which she does, right? She has the knife in her hand at one point, and he's like, you remember he gets scared because like she's like tripping out, and he's like, "Were you gonna?
Is it
What
it's
scene
after
was
that
it?
scene, isn't it?
Yeah. What is it? What does she do?" And he like freaks out about it too because he's like,
That's justified though.
Yeah, it's very justified.
But yeah, I thought he did a very good job flipping the script, going
Yeah,
180 on it. I did.
yeah,
I was supportive with him as well. And then after, I'm like, yeah, you're not the guy. Go
yeah.
back to
Good
your
thing.
ex. Go back to Bart Allen.
Yeah, go back to yeah. Go back to him. He's the better fit.
Um, I just love the way they did the characters wise. I don't have a favorite scene, but like just the only you can see it, and just like all
Yeah,
those scenes where she's able to see whatever, the smile and everything. Like her therapist, her boyfriend gets her a therapist, or fiance gets her a therapist, and right, a therapist, right?
yeah. She was seeing her, and then I guess had stopped, and
Hmm.
then went back to her again, and then the boyfriend calls her over, which was again,
Yeah, but
fuck that dude.
the scene where she comes in, saying, sorry, I went over without permission, whatever, and then they're sitting down talking, and she's there, talking about everything going on, and then her phone rings, and the therapist's like, "Aren't you gonna answer that?" And she answers, and it's the therapist. Like that scene to me was just phenomenal. I loved it.
It's so eerie too, because the thing knocks on the door, like it's so physical. It knocks on the door. It looks at her through the window, waves. It walks inside. It sits there with her, has a conversation, that doesn't give anything away. And then when the phone starts ringing, she's like, Aren't you gonna answer that? And she answers it, and then she's like, "Hey, it's Meredith." That was the name of the. She's like, "It's Meredith. I'm so sorry about what happened." And then all of a sudden she looks, and then it's Smiley. By the way, ugliest smile came from the therapist. Out of all the smiles I saw, she had the most like really like eerie one. And then it follows her, and she's like, "It's almost your time." Right? Like voice changes, and I was like, it pins her against the wall, and like starts like drooling. And again, I'm telling you, hands, man, hands. It's gonna happen. If there's an entity that nobody else can see, I will fight it. I will fight it. In doing so, though, like in what you brought up right now, like that scene was really good. It. We were talking about a-holes. We were talking about like the what's it called? Her sister was an asshole, dude. Her sister did not feel like a sister. Um,
I
was
didn't
just
even
not
realize.
supportive.
I didn't realize that was her sister until they. I think she mentioned it during the her last scene when they brought up the mom. I thought like that was her friend or anything. It just felt like a
Yeah,
friend. But I was like, oh, that's her sister. Man, what a I can't say it on here. But what a bitch.
yeah, and not only that, but like she what is it called? Like when they're sitting there, like again, the fiance seemed like a good guy because whenever they're like whenever the brother-in-law says, well, you think that you take a job in being a doctor because it pays really well, you know, what's the point of being a doctor if you're not going to get rich? And then he's like, hey, you know, Rose would do this for free if she could. She loves being a doctor. And I was like, oh, shout out to, you know, the fiance who ends up becoming an a-hole. But yeah, dude, again, not only that, the sister, I thought the sister was the younger one. Whenever she's like, I'm the older sister, I was like, no, you ain't. no, no, you're not. You're the young, I thought it was the young sister. Um, shout out to the Bacon family. I'm sorry. I'm not coming at anybody with insults. I just, it's not an insult. Um, But yeah, there's this scene when she, after her sister, like after she leaves, she's sitting down at the car, and she's sitting in there, and then all of a sudden the sister walks from the porch to the car, knocks on the door, knocks on it, the window, and then her head does the whole twist thing, goes
Hmm.
right, and then she's like ah, and she's hitting the little nephew's looking outside the window like damn, my aunt gave me a dead cat, now she's screaming like traumatized that kid. That kid was and that's why Franco turned off the TV when his 2-year-old walked in because that could be the outcome.
Yeah, his
You
face,
don't
man, was so funny.
you don't traumatize kids. But that scene, there's this movie on Shudder called Terrified. It's in Spanish, the whole movie. But there's this scene when a guy's sitting down, he's in his car, and this like paranormal like psychiatrist or whatever, she's coming out of the house that they were like checking, and you're just watching him in like his car like trying to start a cigarette, right? And out of nowhere you see something coming from the porch, and it's all blurry, right? But when it gets closer to the door, her body's like contorted, like it's cracked, and her head's back, and like it's running at him with the legs regular, but the back is twisted, and it's like help, help! I don't, and I, dude, that scene, that movie, dude, is so it's eerie. It is like, so when I saw this, I was like, you took that from Terrified. You don't do that, like. But again, it still worked. It's crazy. It's I'm gonna kiss the director. That's how I feel about this movie. This is good stuff.
And honestly, coming from a short film, I haven't seen the short film, but usually people when movies come out from short films and they're like anticipated, they don't live up to the hype of it.
Hmm.
Like Lights Out, that movie
Oh
was
yeah,
dog
dude.
shit. The short
Oh my.
was
The
phenomenal.
short was awesome, dude. And then I was like, oh, they're making it a full length movie. And I saw the movie and I wanted to fight any critic that considered that a good film.
Hmm.
That's when
But
I gave up looking at Rotten Tomatoes scores.
yeah, fuck Rotten
I
Tomatoes. But
was
yeah, shout
like,
out to
that was
Parker Finn.
like, shout out to who?
Parker Finn.
Oh, the director.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I guess we get towards the ending. The ex. I keep forgetting his name. I suck at names right now. I
Joel.
suck at names.
Joel.
Joel.
Or
Joel.
Joel. Yeah.
Joel. Joel.
Joel.
She Rose gets with him to find out. You know, he seems the only one to believe her really,
Hmm.
and they get together to find out what's going on.
Hmm.
It leads Joel to find out that there's one survivor
A
and
string that broke the pattern, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that broke the pattern. And he's in jail because he killed someone. So they go and talk to him. She finds out exactly what happened, why, and now she finds out she has to kill someone to pass it on. So it skips her.
Yeah.
The scene where she goes to the back to the hospital, and one of the guys, I don't know the guy's name, but
I'm gonna
she
die.
goes up
She's
to
gonna
one of
die. We're
them,
all gonna die.
and it looks like she's about to kill him.
Mm.
And then the doctor comes in, and like just the way the scene was, like she just started stabbing him
And
multiple
he's laughing.
times.
He starts laughing.
Yeah, and the doctor's like, "What's going on?" Doctor tears off his
He's like,
face,
Rose, what's going on? And then he's like, ah! And rips off. And I was like, what the, what the
and she
heck?
wakes up in the parking lot of the hospital.
And yeah. And then the doctor actually knocks on the door. And he's
Yeah,
like, hey, Rose, what are you doing here? And he sees the knife. He's like, Rose, let me get you some help, Rose. And she takes off. And I think she hits a car. You hear it. You don't see it. And she reverses, but I listen. I heard her hit somebody else's car. It made me mad. My poor person. After a
poor
long
person.
shift, they gotta get to their. They get to their. That was the one that got hurt the most in the movie. When your
Not the
car
cat.
gets hit by. Huh?
Not the cat.
No, it's the idea of working a long shift and then getting out to find out there's a dent in your car that you didn't make.
Yeah, imagine being like Marvel, fucking Captain America throws your car while you're at work. Not Captain
All right,
America.
yeah, you get
Hulk.
outside and like Superman's using your car to fight
Yeah,
Doomsday. And you're sitting there like, I still have to pay that. I still have payments. I still have payments.
but yeah, we that's where it leads to the ending. They go. You want to explain it? They go to like a house.
Yeah, so they find out that this string of events it's caused by they never explain where the source is, but it leads to him, the detective Joel, finding out that it's a string of murders, at least 20. He goes, it went back as far as 20, 20 people, but one guy skipped it. Who's the guy? Well, it's so and so. Well, I'll take you to him. So they get this visiting time where the captain says, I can only give you 10 minutes since it's not court ordered. So Rose goes to speak to this guy who explains what he did exactly and says, in order to get rid of it, I killed somebody else, but I killed my neighbor and made sure his wife saw it, right? And then she goes, so I'm like, oh, cool. It explains you can get rid of it. Is instead of killing yourself, you kill somebody else, make sure somebody else sees it, right? So I'm like, can it come back to you though? And the only way, and then it made me realize when the guy says, uh, he goes, you got to kill somebody, and she goes, I had to kill someone, and then he goes, oh my gosh, it's you, and he starts getting crazy. He's like, get away from me, because he realizes that if she commits suicide in front of me, then the thing comes back to me. So the thing is, you can kill, like, let's say I go and kill my neighbor in front of his wife could come commit suicide in front of me, and then it comes back to me. So this thing can be gotten back to you. But she realizes that the source of her trauma, basically, it comes from her mother. She had a really ugly past. The beginning of the movie starts with us showing you a scene of the mom in bed crying out for her daughter. In the film, we see glimpses, like there's that scene when she's sitting on her bed and she hears something coming from like her bathroom, and it's real dark. And then when she turns over, the mom's like coming out of the bathroom. That scene was eerie, and she's like, Rose, help me. Like, so then she takes off. She's like, I'm gonna go to my childhood home, which earlier in the film is explained that the sister wants to sell it or get rid of it. And she's like, no, we grew up there. But she's like, it's just a waste of our time. We're not paying anything on it. We could be making, like, basically, I kind of agree with the sister, because when she pulls up to this home, it's dilapidated. It's messed up. She has the audacity to turn on the lights inside as if she knows damn well they haven't been paying the electricity. That's what Katie said. She's like, why would she try to turn on the lights? Her sister just explained how they're not even paying to keep the lights on there. And so she goes and she figures, you know what? I'm going to lock myself in this house and I'm going to find a way to defeat this, you know? And I think her way of defeating it was, I would have said, like, in order to defeat it is to commit suicide on yourself if you have to, without nobody else seeing. Like, if you kill yourself, this thing can't spread. You know, like nobody else sees it, it can't spread. So she goes, and then you find out, we get a glimpse into what happened to her mom. So her mom overdosed and realized that she was overdosing and asks Rose to go call the cops or call some help because she realizes that she's dying. Rose says no and walks out of the room. But then Rose had been holding this, had been harboring that her whole life. It messed her up because she's like, I walked out on helping my mom, which explains why she became a psychiatrist, because she wanted to help other people who may have addictions or going through stuff. Um, so, she finally tells the mom, like, it's, I was scared of you, which brings in the whole fear thing. I was scared of you. I was scared of you, and all this other stuff. And the mom gets up and she starts to get, well, the mom gets up and starts to walk towards her. Rose backs up, gets out, closes the door to the room. Before she can close it, a hand grabs the door, opens it, and that's another tall motherfucker comes out, dude. This her mom's giant man, not really, but like becomes this huge thing. And if y'all have ever seen The Mask, the first one with Jim Carrey, whenever, not when he puts it on, but whenever that a-hole puts it on, that like bad guy in the film, the way his face looked, it reminds me of how the mom looks when she's all big. So she's this ugly creature. She's trying to come at Rose, and she's coming at Rose, and Rose is like, no, no, like you're not gonna get me. You're not gonna this. You're not gonna that. Like I'm gonna defeat you, right? So basically, you think that Rose defeats her. Rose is like, I'm not gonna let you have your way. This thing doesn't have its way, and then it seems like, uh, oh yeah, Rose sets the house on fire, right? And she walks out, closes the door, and she walks away like, I did it. I defeated this thing. Life is good. She gets in her car, drives to Joel's house, gets inside. He's talking to her, and she's talking to him, and she's saying like, I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry about that, but thank you for being here for me. He's like, yeah, no problem. And she goes, now, do you think that you could just stay with me? And Joel, the tone shifts, and he goes, yeah, I'll stay with you forever. And she's like, what? And then it goes from being bright to dark inside there. Things get quiet, and Joel's standing there looking at her like a menace. She gets up, gets scared, starts to run out, and he chases her, ends up back in the house. Turns out it was her mind. The whole thing was her mind. Again, the concept in this movie is fear and the control of the mind. That's how this thing feeds, because the mind is a powerful thing. So this is where I make the comparison. So check this out. So from the first scene in the movie to this scene, she's standing there, right? And then Joel pulls up outside. He sees that stuff's going on inside. He's trying to get in. He's banging on the door. He's trying to break it down, right? He's like, Rose, Rose. And she's looking at this monster because it comes back. And then it skins itself. It starts to take off all of its skin, and then it goes into Rose's mouth, right? And Rose is standing there like, ugh. And it reminded me the beginning when the girl falls over from the chair. She's standing there, she's going, ugh, like she's choking on something. That thing had finally gotten inside of her. It was trying to like go in the whole movie. It's trying to get there. It's almost time. It's almost time. Some people are surviving only 4 days, and then they commit suicide. So that's where I made the comparison. When the girl's opening her mouth and like gagging at the beginning scene, the one that kills herself, it's the same thing with Rose at the very end when this thing finally takes and it embraces her body. Joel rushes in, and he finally breaks down the door, gets in there. He's like, Rose? Rose can't see her anywhere. All of a sudden, points his flashlight towards the kitchen, and Rose is pouring kerosene all over herself. And she's like, throwing it on her, and throws the can on the floor. She turns around, looks at him, biggest smile on her face. Then she picks up the matches and lights one. Now, any smart man, all right, any smart person like me and myself would have turned around. But Joel's demented. Because Joel, instead of being a smart man, like the kind-hearted man he is, and you did deserve her, I'm sorry you had to watch that. Instead of being a smart man, he sits there and watches it. So you think, oh, it's over. Nope. And no, it's not. Joel just witnessed that murder. And here's the sad thing. Joel doesn't know how to stop it because Joel didn't hear what that man said at the prison. Remember, she doesn't tell him anything. She's like, no, I'm not going to tell. Like, no, it was nothing, blah, blah, blah. So then that opens the door to this movie continuing with the sequel. There can be a sequel now. Because What song does he start singing at the end? I forgot what song. It was like singing like a. At the very end of the very end of the movie, it starts to play like this one old time song. It's not Mr. Sandman. It's something like that. I think Barbarian did a similar thing. It started playing an old song at the end of the movie, throughout the credits. But yeah, that's how the movie ends. Definitely leads you with like the idea that there could possibly be a sequel, which I'm all for. If they decide to go through with the sequel, I thoroughly enjoyed this film from start to finish. Yeah, I remember that whole last scene.
I would like to see a sequel.
Yeah, I think it'll work. They can, a part of me thinks like if they do a sequel, they're not going to like really pay attention to Joel. It'll probably start off with Joel killing himself in front of somebody else, and then they carry on the movie with whatever new set or whatever new group of people uh, they choose for this one for a sequel.
Yeah. Uh, Taglines. We want to do that. Once you see it, it's too late. I feel like that's a tagline
Oh,
probably
that
for
is a
all
good
those.
one. Once you see it, it's too late. Um, I would say this. That's a good one.
Oh no, it follows. It doesn't think. It doesn't feel. It doesn't give up.
Oh,
Um, let's put a smile on that face.
damn, like that. Gosh, who are you?
You know, I got these scars.
When I was a kid.
Noises.
He like lick his chops like the whole movie. Like when I was a kid, my dad used to get home. And I'd be like, "All right, calm down, boy." Um, I would say like "Don't Look" or tagline would be something along the lines of "The mind is a powerful." Smile. The mind is a powerful thing.
It's a good one.
Every time I think of this movie about the mind being powerful, I think of NF when I grow up. I think, or it's one of the songs where he's like, "The mind is a powerful thing." No, I think it's in Lost, where he's talking about with Hobson. He's like, "When the
Probably.
mind is a powerful place." And then I also think of "Holding On to You" by 21 Pilots. Fight it, take the pin, ignite it, tie a noose around your mind, loosen up to breathe, find it, tie it to a tree, tell it you belong to me.
This ain't
Have
news.
some news for you.
News for you. You must obey me.
Yeah, you are surrounding. That should have ended the
Surrounding.
all
My
my
daughter
surroundings
sings
surrounding.
the 10 times they say "entertain my faith" in that song.
Oh, and it's in my veins.
Yeah, she's too so she's like,
Lean with it, rock with it. When we gonna stop with it? But yeah, those are the two songs that played like in my head a lot of the movie. I remember just being like, bro, I would have been bumping that hella hard whenever I had to go against my mom. My mom scared me as a kid too, so don't like to like yeah. So I don't blame. Her mom did. I don't know. Like her mom felt like she had a Mexican accent when she was talking to her, and I was just like, but I guess the father, or mom must have been because her last name was Carter. It was Rose Carter was the name of the main character. Um, but yeah, that uh, I don't know, man. I really enjoyed this movie. I give it all the praise, all the accolades. That's why I give it 5 because it was refreshing to me, especially seeing it a second time. The score is great. It's a movie that doesn't do it. I mean, there's movies that overstay their welcome or like try to do too much with too much of a cast, and this movie it keeps everything fine with only like a handful of cast members. And on top of that, it also showed something that's very real. Rose wore that sweater like 3 or 4 times in the movie. And I was like, that is real life right there. People wear the same shirt 2 days in a row, or if they wear it once, they wear it again. And Rose wore that one sweater, that one hoodie, multiple times. And I was like, that's believable. I know that nobody's probably going to pick that up, but like, it's a movie manual, but I pay attention because it makes things seem more real. And that's why I've been seeing my dead grandfather. He just keeps coming after me, man. And I don't know what's going on. But thank you all for and I just kill myself on the on the stream.
Get banned right away. Damn. Uh,
Not only that, I just a whole bunch of witnesses. I just spread it.
it's like if there's multiple witnesses, does it follow
Is
each
it,
and every one of them?
that's what I'm saying. Does it come like VHS viral? Remember at the end they upload the tapes and that's how it like all hell breaks loose. That's what I'm thinking. Like, if you what if you like live stream your suicide, or do you have to be in the same room as somebody? Like it has to be a physical for them to do it at a concert.
These
Imagine
are
Justin
questions that need to
Bieber.
be answered in Smile 2. Smile 2 is gonna be called just like upside down frown.
It's gonna be you should smile more. Smile too. You should smile more. Parker Finn, we're copywriting that. That is our idea. All right. If you decide like, oh, I want the second movie to be the end all be all of the film, and it's like Justin Bieber killing himself on stage at the end of that's no hate towards Justin Bieber. I like his music.
Yeah,
I'm just using him as an example. Killing himself on stage at the end, and then it being like, oh, now it's just spread out of this little town,
it should be
you
more
know,
of
or
an
like,
NF concert since he always has the face paint smile.
well, it's not gonna be good. Well, if you heard Hope, have you heard Hope?
Yeah, dude, I found out about that like 3 days after it came out. I was like, what the hell? I didn't know about this.
So you watched the music video?
Yeah, the music video was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But
So like the smile's gone.
yeah, but
Yeah, yeah, no, but if yeah, it could be made in
this was
the era of the
2022, not
search,
2023.
the search. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
But
Um,
that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching and listening. We'll be back next Wednesday. I
yes.
believe Juan might be back. I'm not 100% sure. But if he's not, it'll be just us two again. We're reviewing It from 1990. You can watch it on Amazon Prime if you pay, I think it's like $2.99, $3.99 for it. Or I'm pretty sure you can find it like any Walmart.
Yeah, that's true.
But thank you all for listening and watching. Give us a follow on Instagram. Subscribe for the 14 podcast, Wrestling Tacos on Instagram. And you can follow my good friend over here, wherever.
Yes, Fresh TV 217 on Instagram. That's Fresh with a PHRESH TV 217. It would mean the world to me. Please follow me in that. Please. Peace, guys.
Peace.
Thank you all for listening.
Love. Tacos.
Yes.
Bye.
Always.